All right, listener, are you ready? Because today we're diving headfirst into the world of cryptocurrency. Just imagine for a second it's 2025, and you had the foresight to pick the cryptos that skyrocketed in value.
Ah, that's the dream, right? Everyone wants to find that golden ticket.
Exactly. So that's what we're breaking down today. 10 promising contenders for the crypto crown and giving you the knowledge you need to navigate this crazy landscape.
But of course, remember, this is just one source's prediction, and in crypto, things can change faster than you can say blockchain. Always do your own research before making any decisions.
Couldn't agree more. Think of this deep dive as a roadmap to help you understand the players, the potential, and yeah, the risks involved.
Volatility is definitely part of the game.
It's a roller coaster for sure. Okay, so let's get right to it. Instead of just listing the cryptos, we're going to group them by their main functions. First up, the store of value cryptos. The ones people think of as digital gold.
And we've got to start with the king.
Yeah.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin, the OG. It might not be the flashiest or the newest, but it's still the most recognized and traded cryptocurrency. And for a lot of investors, it's seen as a safe haven asset, a hedge against inflation.
Like digital gold. But some people say it's getting a little, well, boring. No fancy smart contracts, no metaverse dreams. Does Bitcoin still have room to grow in the future?
That's the million-dollar question. It really depends on how you see Bitcoin. Its limited supply of 21 million coins is a key part of its value. As more people jump into crypto and demand goes up, that scarcity could keep pushing its price higher.
So even with all these new cryptos popping up, Bitcoin might still have a long way to go. But what about other cryptos trying to play in that same store of value space? What about Litecoin, which is often called digital silver? What do you think about that comparison, listener? Does it hold up?
The digital silver analogy is interesting. Litecoin does have some things in common with Bitcoin, like being a decentralized payment system with a limited supply. It's often seen as a more affordable alternative to Bitcoin, which kind of fits the silver to gold idea. But just like in the real world, the value of these assets is ultimately determined by how the market perceives them and how much people want them.
Okay, so Litecoin is like the underdog trying to prove itself.
Right.
But let's change gears now and move into the world of smart contracts and decentralized applications, or dApps. And here, Ethereum is the clear leader, right? It's the platform that made smart contracts mainstream.
Absolutely. Ethereum was the pioneer. It brought us the idea of a blockchain that can do more than just transfer value. It opened up a ton of possibilities for developers to build decentralized applications, everything from financial tools to games to social networks.
Okay, so for our listener, can you give us a quick breakdown of what a smart contract actually is? We hear the term all the time, but what does it really mean?
Picture a digital agreement that automatically executes itself when certain conditions are met. Like a smart contract could be used to transfer ownership of a digital asset once a payment is received. It cuts out the middleman and creates a system that's transparent and trustless.
Got it. So smart contracts are basically automated agreements written in code. But I've also heard that Ethereum has some issues. Isn't it kind of slow and expensive to use?
You're right, Ethereum has had some challenges with scalability. As it's become more popular, the network has gotten congested, leading to slower transaction speeds and higher fees. That's one of the biggest hurdles for Ethereum's growth.
So is Ethereum going to fall behind these newer, faster blockchains? What's the plan to address these problems?
Well, that's where Ethereum 2.0 comes in. It's a major upgrade that's been in development for a while now, and it's designed to tackle those scalability issues. It introduces sharding, which basically splits the network into multiple parallel chains, allowing it to handle more transactions.
So like adding more lanes to a highway to handle more traffic? Makes sense. So Ethereum 2.0 is kind of a big deal then.
It has the potential to change the game for the entire crypto world. It could make Ethereum faster, cheaper, and more energy efficient, allowing it to support even more complex applications.
So Ethereum is working on a major makeover. But in the meantime, other blockchains are trying to capitalize on its weaknesses. One that I'm really curious about is Solana. It's got a reputation for being lightning fast, but what's the catch?
Solana is definitely one of the fastest blockchains out there. It's attracting lots of developers and users, especially in the NFT and DeFi space. But there's some trade-offs. It's a relatively new platform, and there are still questions about its long-term security and decentralization.
So it's a bit of a gamble, right? High potential, but some unknowns too. I'm sensing a theme here. Every crypto seems to have its strengths and weaknesses, its own story.
Exactly. And that's what makes this space so exciting. There's no single perfect solution. It all depends on your individual goals, your risk tolerance, and what you believe in.
Speaking of believing in something, let's talk about Cardano. It's known as the brainy crypto, the one that's all about scientific rigor and peer-reviewed research. What's the draw there, and how does that translate into real-world applications?
Cardano is definitely taking a slower, more deliberate approach to development, focusing on security and sustainability. It's built a strong community of developers and researchers who are passionate about building a platform that's robust and reliable. And it's starting to gain traction in areas like supply chain management and identity verification.
So Cardano is playing the long game, building a solid foundation based on research and innovation. Okay, we've covered Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano. That's a lot to digest, listener.
It's a lot to process. We've
Mhm.
gone from the basics to some pretty complex concepts.
We'll take a break here and come back with 5 more promising cryptos in part 2 of this deep dive. Welcome back, listener. So we've journeyed through those store of value cryptos like Bitcoin and Litecoin and explored the world of smart contracts with Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano. But hold on tight because there's a whole universe of other cryptos out there, each one tackling unique challenges and opportunities.
Exactly. We're going to shift gears a bit now and focus on cryptos that are solving specific problems and coming up with innovative solutions.
Sounds good to me. Let's hear it.
We'll start with a crypto that's all about bridging the gap between the blockchain world and the real world, Chainlink.
Okay, Chainlink bridging the gap. Interesting.
What do you think, listener? Have you ever wondered how crypto can actually be used for real-world things?
I think that's a question a lot of people have. It's easy to talk about digital currencies and smart contracts, but how do they actually connect to what's happening in the real world?
That's where Chainlink comes in. It's like a bridge bringing real-world data onto the blockchain.
Okay, I'm listening.
So imagine you have a smart contract for crop insurance. The payout is supposed to happen automatically if there's a drought. But how does the blockchain know if there's a drought? That's where Chainlink steps in. It can connect that smart contract to weather data from reliable sources, making sure the payout happens automatically when the conditions are met.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So Chainlink basically gives those smart contracts eyes and ears, letting them interact with the real world. It opens up a whole new level of possibilities.
Exactly. And that's why Chainlink is so important. It's making it possible to develop more complex and sophisticated applications that can have a real impact on our lives.
Okay, so Chainlink connects blockchains to the real world. But what about connecting different blockchains to each other? I've heard about this interoperability thing. Sounds kind of futuristic.
It does sound pretty sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
But that's the whole idea behind Polkadot. It's a blockchain platform that's trying to build a network of networks.
A network of networks, so like all the blockchains talking to each other.
Exactly. Think about a future where you can easily transfer assets and data between all these different blockchains. It'd be like having a universal translator for the crypto world.
That would be incredible. No more silos, just seamless flow of information and value across all the different ecosystems. But is that even possible? I mean, blockchains are supposed to be independent and secure. How do you break down those walls without compromising security?
That's the challenge Polkadot is trying to solve. They're using a unique architecture that allows different blockchains to connect and communicate with each other, but still maintain their own security and independence. It's a really ambitious project, but if they pull it off, it could completely change how we use blockchain technology.
So Chainlink connects blockchains to the real world, and Polkadot connects blockchains to each other. Makes sense.
And since we're talking about connections, we can't forget about the crypto that's all about connecting with the metaverse.
You mean Decentraland, the one with the virtual real estate?
That's the one. It's one of the leading platforms in the metaverse space, letting users buy, sell, and build on virtual land, all represented as NFTs.
Okay, so let's make sure our listener is up to speed on this whole metaverse thing. It's a lot to take in. Imagine a persistent virtual world where you can interact with other people, attend events, create art, play games, and even start businesses. It's like stepping into a video game, but you actually own things and have real economic opportunities.
Exactly. And Decentraland is one of the platforms where this is all happening. It's like a digital canvas where you can create anything you can dream up. And the best part is you actually own the land and stuff you create in the form of NFTs.
NFTs. Always going to mention NFTs, right? Can you give us a super quick rundown of what they are and how they work?
Sure. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are one-of-a-kind digital assets that are verified and stored on a blockchain. Think of them like digital collectibles, but instead of physical stuff, they represent ownership of digital things like artwork, music, or even virtual land.
Okay, so they're like digital deeds of ownership. Gotcha. So in Decentraland, you can buy and sell virtual land using NFTs and then build whatever you want on that land, like having your own little piece of the metaverse.
You got it. And the potential is massive. Some people are buying virtual land just as an investment, betting that it'll be worth more as the metaverse becomes more popular. Others are setting up shops, creating virtual storefronts, or hosting events. It's like a whole new world for creativity and entrepreneurship.
It really is mind-blowing. But we have to move on to one more crypto on our list, and this one's a little controversial. Ripple, or XRP, it's been in the news a lot because of that legal battle with the SEC. What's the latest there, and what does it mean for Ripple's future?
Yeah, the Ripple case has been making some serious waves in the crypto world. It's complicated, but basically the SEC is saying XRP is a security, which would mean it's subject to tighter regulations. Ripple, on the other hand, says XRP is a currency and shouldn't have to follow the same rules.
So it's a fight over how cryptos should be classified and regulated. That's a pretty big deal.
It is. The stakes are high. A win for Ripple could be a huge victory for the whole crypto industry. It could set a precedent for other cryptos and maybe even open the door for wider adoption of XRP, especially for cross-border payments. But if things don't go Ripple's way, it could have the opposite effect. It might slow down innovation and make people less likely to invest in this space.
Definitely something to keep an eye on then. It could have ripple effects, no pun intended, throughout the entire crypto world.
You could say that the outcome of this case could shape the regulatory landscape for years to come. And it reminds us that the crypto world is still young and there's still a lot of challenges and uncertainties ahead.
All right, listener, we've covered 10 promising cryptos, each one with its own unique story and potential. We talked about store of value cryptos like Bitcoin and Litecoin, explored the power of smart contracts with Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano dove into the world of interoperability with Chainlink and Polkadot, and even took a trip to the metaverse with Decentraland. And we tackled the regulatory Wild West with Ripple. What stands out to you the most? What are you most curious about? Let us know.
Yeah, we've thrown a lot of information your way, listener. Now it's time for you to start exploring on your own.
Wow, it's kind of wild to think about how much we've covered in this deep dive.
I know, right? We've gone from the very basics of Bitcoin all the way to the metaverse.
Digital gold smart contracts, virtual real estate, it's all on the table.
It really shows you how much innovation is happening in crypto.
And you know what, listener? This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole world out there waiting to be explored.
Absolutely. Think of this deep dive as like a taste test of different crypto flavors.
But the real fun starts when you go out and explore on your own.
Follow those threads. Dig deeper into the stuff that grabs your attention.
Maybe you're hooked on DeFi.
Or maybe the metaverse is calling your name.
Whatever it is, don't hesitate to jump in and learn.
The crypto world never stands still, so there's always something new to discover.
And remember, knowledge is power, especially in a space that moves as fast as this one.
Take your time, do your research, ask questions, and don't be afraid to challenge what you think you know.
Be skeptical of everything you read and hear. Don't just blindly follow the hype train.
And maybe most importantly, don't invest more than you can afford to lose.
Crypto can be incredibly rewarding, but it definitely comes with risks.
So be smart, be cautious, and think long term.
Now, before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay, shoot.
We've talked a lot about the technology, the potential, the risks.
All the nuts and bolts.
But at the end of the day, crypto is about more than just code and making money.
It's about a vision of a different kind of future, right?
Exactly, a more decentralized future.
Where power isn't concentrated in the hands of a few.
A future where individuals have more control over their data and their money.
And that future is being built right now, and you can be a part of it.
So what role will you play in this exciting new world, listener?
That's up to you to decide.
But one thing's for sure, the future of crypto is looking bright and full of possibilities.
So stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of cryptocurrency.
And until next time, happy exploring.